Hi guys, it's November 19, 2015, and I am in Budapest, Hungary. So Angela Merkel a couple of days ago attempted to hold a soccer match, a very important soccer match to be viewed by millions of people. The soccer match between the national teams of Germany and the Netherlands was meant to showcase the defiance of the German people to terrorism and terrorism fears, and to drive through the point that German civil society would not allow itself to be intimidated by the terrorists. Ironically, that soccer match had to be canceled as a result of terrorism fears. It's not clear exactly what happened. The German Interior Ministry is mum as to what exactly prompted the government to cancel the soccer match where Angela Merkel would be attending, along with her more important ministers. But there were reports, I don't know if they were true or not, that there was an ambulance packed with explosives, and perhaps there was also a suitcase found in one of the train stations, along with intelligence reports. Whatever the case may be, I mean, it's quite ironic that a soccer match attempting to showcase defiance against terrorism and to drive through the point that civil society would continue as normal had to be canceled as a result of terrorism fears. But just mark one more for the book of Angela Merkel. I mean, you know, her government is just a complete mess. It seems that they can't move one foot without tripping over the other. Now, despite the horrific terrorist attacks in Paris, perpetrated not only by local Muslims or the descendants of former waves of immigrants in France and in Belgium, who were freely transiting between France and Belgium and Syria, as well as Syrians entering the EU and France entering France, posing as refugees. Despite that terrorist attack, Angela Merkel remains defiant in her insistence that she wants to import hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of predominantly young male Arabs into Germany. Now it's not a matter of economics, because the economic argument that has been advanced in certain quarters makes absolutely no sense. I mean, if you look at Sweden, these guys who are coming over, who are not the best of the bunch. I mean, you know, you're not picking you're not cherry picking here. You're getting the bottom of the barrel. Most of these refugees, about half of them are still unemployed and living off the dole 10 years after they moved into Sweden. That's what's going on in Sweden. In Germany, the situation is similar, and in other Scandinavian countries, it's the same story. So the economic argument that these people who are coming over are scientists and artists and this, that, and the other, and brain surgeons and people with great economic value, it just doesn't hold any water. So, and you know, everybody knows that it's a preposterous argument. It is a big lie. It's the typical Marxist strategy that if you tell a lie that is preposterous enough and you repeat it often enough, it is going to be believed just by the fact that it is so absurd and so contrary to people's perceptions that people just automatically assume that, if it gets repeated so much, it must be because that person's senses are deceiving that person and the big lie must be true. So what's left? What's left? I mean, the economic argument doesn't make any sense. There's also the humanitarian argument, but it doesn't hold water either. I mean, you're importing people into societies that have been around for thousands of years, civilizations that have been around thousands of years, and you're completely disregarding the best interests of the inhabitants of those societies. Angela Merkel stands firm that she wants unlimited immigration from these countries. She recently stated that she has a vision for Germany, and she insists on that vision being implemented. Now, that vision, it's hard for a reasonable person to see in that vision anything other than what is already happening in other parts of Europe that are becoming Islamized. I'm talking about the city of Malmö in Sweden, the slums in the Islamic slums in Brussels in Belgium, where the Paris, most recent Paris attacks terrorists came from. We're talking about the banlieues in Paris, the Saint Denis areas. I mean, these places are terrible places, and they would be even more terrible if they were not living off the dole and extracting large amounts of government benefits. And what's going to happen with all these guys coming over is that these places are just going to expand, and they're going to occupy a greater and greater portion of France, and the frictions in the society are just going to continue to aggravate. This is not in the interest of native Europeans. I mean, that is the issue. The issue is not humanitarianism or anything of the sort. The issue is fairness. The issue is that Europe belongs to the native Europeans, and it is not in their interest to admit these people in such great numbers over. Because these people, unfortunately, are not going to add the value to the society that justifies these people coming over. They're going to take something that's good and they're going to turn it into, well, something that's not so good. So that is the issue. The issue is fundamental fairness to the native Europeans who are seeing their societies, their countries, their civilizations, their institutions just being taken away from them. Immigrant by immigrant by immigrant by immigrant. Now, if you admit these guys, these Muslim guys, and these African guys, by the hundreds of thousands, I mean, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I mean, they're obviously going to gravitate towards those countries with the highest welfare benefits. Countries that unfortunately can't incorporate them into their economies, countries such as Sweden and Germany. And these countries are going to experience the following: their native populations are going to be displaced by their imported populations. The native Swedes are, for example, I mean, the situation is far worse in Sweden than anywhere else. And what's going to happen is what's happens in the United States, except that it's going to affect not just cities, but or regions, but entire countries. What's going to happen is that the native Swedes are just going to vote with their feet. they're gonna say, forget it. I'm paying all these taxes, and for what? For the benefit of people who have nothing in common with me, who even dislike me, who dislike me so much that they're willing to just murder me for no other reason other than who I am in my own country, and because I do not follow their religion. It's not worth it. So they're going to decamp. They're going to move to other places. They're going to move to places like Poland. They're going to move to places like the Czech Republic and Hungary, and places that have shielded themselves from these inflows, both as a result of not being as wealthy as Sweden and as a result of having more right-leaning policies. So that's what's going to happen, and it's also going to be seen in Germany. I mean, this happens in the United States all the time, and it's called white flight. It basically means that when you pump so many people from an alien culture into a region, the dissatisfaction, the problems, the distaste, the generalized distaste of the people who are seeing this inflows results in them just leaving. I mean, unless they're gonna take up arms and fight off the invasion, but usually they don't do that. They just leave. But as they leave and as they realize that they're running out of places to go to, because Islam in Africa just keeps expanding, what you're going to end up with are radicals, and you're going to have radicals facing each other. And if that's not a recipe for war, I mean, I don't know what is, unfortunately. And I don't think that's in the interest of anybody. So this is a battle that either we are going to have to follow and we're going to have to fight and settle right now, or we're just dumping it on the shoulders of our children. And I don't think that's fair. So we gotta buckle down and get serious about this, because this just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. All right, take care, guys.